It's Jeff with Gear Report, here at Gear Report headquarters in Central North Carolina, bringing you yet another This Week at Gear Report. It's a kind of live interactive show that we're doing every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, at least while we have this virus stuff going around that has people kind of locked in. We're cranking out a lot of reviews. We have a lot of products coming into review. This gives us an opportunity to pull the team together where you can ask questions. So if you're joining this for the first time, if you head over to YouTube, on that channel, well, you'd be watching this on YouTube, wouldn't you? All right. I promise you, I'm not drinking and live streaming. Okay. I wouldn't put it past me. Not even a little, not this time. So I just, it's Friday. I'm not that smart on a Friday. But anyhow, so we're going to talk about all the reviews that have been published this week. We'll talk about any new products that have come in and things that we're working through our review queues. We're available. If you have any questions, you can fire them up in the comments so that we can have a discussion about them. And with that, I am going to go around the room so people can introduce themselves. And I got someone in the green room to let in. That's Clover. I'll let him in. All right. So, Toby, you want to say hi? We'll start with you.
Absolutely. Hello, my name's Toby. I'm one of the writers for Gear-Report.com, Gear-Report.com.
Awesome. Thank you. That was well done, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Trey, you're looking very dapper.
You know, I got dressed up for you, man. You know, not wearing a kit this week.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I'm not even going to ask. Not wearing the kit. I'm not going to ask if you're wearing a kilt because I don't want to know.
No, you don't. No. No, I'm Trey with Ghost Tactical, and I'm a contributor with. Toby's with Gear-Report.com. I write for Gear-Report.com. So might get you the same place. I don't know.
Right. That one sounds quicker. The dash. Yeah. Clover, you with us?
Yeah, I am if I unmute.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I'm Chris Clover Tech with Gear-Report also.com. So the also is not in there. It's Gear-Report.com also. So there we go.
Got it. I think I understand.
Yeah.
See, he's writing for Gear-Report.com, not .com.
Oh, well, that could be too. Yeah.
That one.
Gear-Reportreviews.com.
Yeah.
_ quotes, close quote.
All right. And we'll break in Mitch on his first time joining us on the live stream rather. Just don't flub things like I've been doing and you'll be fine, Mitch.
Hey guys, it's Mitch here in Texas. I'm one of the newer writers for Gear-Report.com.
That's a new variation. All right, we're getting creative.
He's a tactical gearhead, I think.
Is he?
Roger that.
Oh, apparently yes. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Any questions from anyone out there? I see Budget must be at work. Sometimes he'll join us. Usually if he's tied up, he just kind of, I'd say he mails it in or phones it in, but he really just types it in the comments. So thanks for everyone who's out there. If you happen to be following along online, say something in the comments. We know you're there. Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. So let's see. I am going to do share screen, and I'm going to go to a Chrome tab for Gear Report, and let's look at. I think where we stopped for last week, we were able to talk about the Sol Invictus TAC 9. I remember a lively discussion about that. And that was the last item that was published before last week's show. So when we started off fresh after that, Trey jumped in pretty quickly over the weekend with a soft armor. And I got to tell you, Trey, you wrote the VISM. Do you know? Do they pronounce that like Vism, or is it just VISM?
I think it's Vism.
Vism. Okay.
I don't know that for certain. I don't know that, but I've never heard anyone say VISM, so I just call it Vism. NC Star. Maybe it's called NC Star. How about that?
That's where I was going. I thought it was interesting that you left the brand name out of the title, and I hate to give a spoiler here, but we'll go ahead and give a spoiler that the wince in the picture was not a bullet penetrating the vest and taking you out.
No, it was not.
Yeah,
I did not model for that picture in a live fire situation. No.
Right, as far as we know.
As far as you know.
Yeah, there's there's a South American soft armor brand that does that. Is it like Miguel Cabrera or something like that? I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about?
Could be.
That
no, I don't.
Like if you're media,
I mean, like they get shot on purpose to test it.
Yeah. So he'll have media come into his office. Like he's flown people in from the States. They come in. He suits them up in his office, and they'll stand up. We'll take some pictures, and he gets a camera in there. You're modeling, and then he pulls out a 357 and shoots you.
No, thank you.
And he's like, "Oh, it's a great demonstration. See?" And I'm like, dude, yeah, no.
Yeah, no,
I think that's
no. Well, that's part of the thing that I put at the very end is the ugly truth about armor. It doesn't matter if it's soft armor or ceramic hard armor. If you ever do get shot with any kind of armor on, the stuff will probably save your life, but you're going to go home with cracked ribs, wind knocked out of you. You're going to be bruised and you're going to be sore for a while.
right.
So you might walk away, but it won't be immediately. I promise you.
Right. Have you been shot?
Have I been shot? Not by a threat or an enemy. I have. We did some. Yes, once. Yes.
Okay.
So I want to go with that. Yes.
Yeah. All right. I was just curious. So in spite of the reputation that the NC Star brand has, you gave this 3 gears and nothing fully penetrated, right?
I probably would have given it more, honestly, if no, nothing penetrated. Not only did it not penetrate, nothing penetrated past the 6th layer. So there were, I don't know, probably, I should have counted it, but it was well less than half. So let's say there was maybe 20 to 24 layers. It only got through 6 of them, probably.
Wow.
I was impressed. It is very lightweight. After the first probably 3 shots, it became permanently dismembered as far as it was not going to hold its shape ever again the way it was, but it continued to work. And no, I would have given it a higher score if I would have thought that a 10 by 12 soft plate is only going to do so much. It's level 3 alpha, which means it's pistol handgun calibers 44 Magnum and below. But yeah, it worked. It definitely worked. But I would say this: what I would probably think about using it for is I think it would be a phenomenal piece of equipment to put in your kid's backpack. If you're one of those people that are worried about a school shooting, I think that it would do the job. It's lightweight. The kids probably wouldn't even notice that it was there. It's not going to weigh them down. I would say that would probably be the best way for this particular model to be utilized, is probably with a backpack for a kid.
And it's $20. Is that what I'm reading in here?
No, the vest is about $20.
Oh, I
The
was
plate's
gonna
about 80. The plate, the panel's about 80, and the vest is about 20. So if you get that vest that's made for that series, you're talking $100 out the door for both. The panel itself, I think it's like $79.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, neat. All right.
Yep.
You know what? I just took it off a screen share. I'm going to go right back to it and see what the next item was. Back to here. Pardon my disorganization. I really am considering doing some day drinking on Fridays before the show to maybe help me be more skilled at
Lubricate
this.
the wheels, so to speak.
Yeah, okay. AJ's not here to talk about his Sidewinder boot hands-free right angle flashlight, but I'll tell you what, let me take it off of that screen and show you the other version of that. If I go, it's a Streamlight product, and this one, I don't remember what this one's called, actually. I should, Sidewinder, that's what it is. And so the one that he reviewed has a big battery pack hanging off of it. This just has one battery in it, but it's kind of neat. Little tactical light that you can clip on a bunch of things, and it's got your infrared, and I think it's I don't remember if it's a green or a red, but one of the night vision sensitive ones, plus a larger light. So for people who are kitted up and in vehicles or something, it's a pretty neat little light. I got it to play with in the Humvee when we're doing night vision stuff. And then AJ got that little larger version to do his review on. Let's see what else. If we go down here,
Budget says that he's at home and said send him a link, but I'm letting him know that it's at the bottom of that calendar invite. Scroll all the way down, so maybe he'll join.
yes, okay, yeah, awesome. Appreciate that. So we had the RCBS ChargeMaster versus Hornaday Auto Charge review. So if you're into loading or reloading of ammunition, this is actually kind of a guest post that Jason from Trendy Tactical is doing a series of reloading articles that we're posting for him. And they seem to be pretty decent articles. I don't I know Clover does some loading. Does anyone else here in the discussion do any loading? Everyone just unloads ammunition?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a little bit of loading. I've never done this type. To use these type of powder measures, you have to, where's the other picture? Here we go. You got to line your shells up, line your empty cases up and put your funnel and, it'll automatically measure the precise amount into the cup and you pour it in. And that's a little too hands-on. If you're doing real high accuracy stuff, then that can be worthwhile. But what I'm typically doing on the progressive press is just churning out bulk ammo. So I don't use that kind of powder measure. But if you're into being more precise, those look like they would really speed things up.
So you're just dropping powder.
I am dropping powder, yes.
Now I have the Hornady. And RCBS, the Charge Master's been around for a very long time. Well, at this point, the Hornady has two, but the Charge Master was out long before the Hornady started making one. I got a buddy that's got the Charge Master. Has had it for years. Never had any issues. They're both great measures, but they're definitely slower than dropping, without a doubt. And so what I do with mine, and this is just talking about use on it, be interesting to read that article and see what his conclusions were. But with mine, what I do, because once it gets to a certain point, I mean, their accuracy is pretty awesome. So once it gets to a certain amount of powder, auger or whatever you want to call it will slow down considerably. So
Right.
it's a little bit slow. And so what I do is I'll trickle charge in a pan. I'll trickle a charge at the same time that is doing. You feel me? Like in
Yeah.
between. And then by the time I can trickle and get one loaded, that one will have dumped into the pan. And so I can dump it, hit it again, trickle another one, and I alternate back and forth, and it
Gotcha.
doubles my speed. So just a little
Yeah.
tip for those using those chargers that want to go a little faster.
Yeah. How long does it take for like a typical rifle cartridge to fill one case?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, you're looking at a good 30 seconds
Oh
probably.
my.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not fast once it gets to a certain point, because it's got to be real careful, especially if you're using
Yeah.
spherical powder, powder
Yeah.
that's real
Yep.
fine. Because you'll get a clump or you'll get something in there, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
it'll dump, and then you got the risk for errors, and because if it goes over, it'll beep and let you know, or at least the Hornady will. I'm not familiar
Right.
enough with the Charge Master, but I'm sure it's got something that lets you know. But yeah, once it gets within like a grain or something like that, it slows down considerably. So just depending on how the powder's distributed and that sort of stuff, it's definitely a lot slower than dropping powder. But if you trickle charge anyway, and then it can be a great companion for that. Like I said, because basically it doubles your speed.
Interesting. Yeah. Cool. Well, I appreciate the extra dropping some knowledge on us there. Thank you. Caleb had a Lucid Optics review. I'll tell you what, this one took forever because I had it on a rifle to review and had issues with the rifle, and then lost where we were going to shoot it because this was on a 224 Valkyrie that we really needed to push the distance on it. And then I put it on a different rifle. You know, it was on something else. Put it on this 224 valve for Caleb, and then he had issues with the rifle and had to get a new barrel. So I was referring to this particular scope as the cursed scope because everything we put it on just got jacked up, and you know, it's like, are we ever going to get a review done? But he got out. He doesn't talk about this, but I'm going to. Where he did his testing, he actually went with the CEO of Palmetto State Armory. Chad had him out to the club he goes to do some shooting because they kind of, I don't know that they hang out a lot, but Chad is one of the more down to earth, nice, like not what most people would think of as a CEO. He's just like a normal dude who happens to run one of the biggest up and coming, you know, companies in the world. It's kind of interesting, but this Lucid Optics. Anyone else shoot some Lucid Optics?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be having a Lucid HDX review coming in the very near future.
That's right. Yeah, those are kind of neat. Have you gotten out and shot with it yet?
Not as much as I want to, which is why it's coming in the near future. It's so far the my days off and good weather have not coincided at all.
Right. Yeah, Caleb and I went to the Lucid. They called it Ballistic Summit, and it was what, October maybe, out in Raton, New Mexico, at the NRA Whittington Center, and spent a few days with them shooting all their products. And it was funny that Caleb and I got there early. We got there the night before the rest of the media got there, so it was just us and the Lucid people hanging out, and they were getting a little nervous that the HDX, you said, I think, was it hadn't arrived yet. Like the very first two to come to the United States didn't make it in time to go to their office and have them bring them. They had them shipped straight to the facility, and they're like, "Oh my God, they're not going to be here when this event starts." But they did show up like that evening, and then the event started the next morning. So we were the first ones to get out and play with them, and it's kind of neat little optic.
Yeah.
So
far, what I've done with it, I've liked it. It's been pretty positive.
Cool. Yeah, and this MLX, we shot that out there, and I'll tell you, for the money, I think Mac at Double Tap Shooting is working with Arcan Optics a lot lately, and that he says is the best value out there. Until he got on a kick about that, I would have said, without a doubt, Lucid was the best value I'd run across. And I haven't shot Arcan, I don't know, but I'm just saying that's a new one that's popped on my radar that I need to get my hands on. But
I've got
these,
I got several of them coming, so I'm excited about working with them.
yeah. So this Lucid seems to be a pretty good value. Holds up pretty well. You know, he was pretty happy with it. What did he? I think he rated it 4 or 4.5. 4 out of 5 gears. That's pretty darn good. All right. And while I'm here driving the different things we've reviewed, if anyone sees comments pop up, because I can't see those while I'm doing this, feel free to pop in with any questions that are coming from out online. Clover, do you want to talk about this chest rig real quick from Alien Gear?
Yeah. I think surprised me a little bit. Because they reached out, wanted to do something. I thought, okay, I've played around with a couple of chest rigs in the past. I didn't like them, but they were more universal chest rigs. So I got this one in, and just the way that the shell is made onto the backing. We'll come to find out that backing has a real thin piece of spring steel, and it's also neoprene. So the fit and everything is really well, and it kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like I don't want to say one of the clingy holsters that you carry in your pocket or something like that, but real similar. Of course, with Alien Gear, I mean, everybody should know that anything and everything. I don't think that there's a revolver or pistol out there that they can't make a holster for. Special order possibly, but still able to do it. At first I thought, okay, for hunting and hiking and fishing, I kind of things in the outdoor, I seen that. The more time I spent with it though, and it was kind of after I did really the video review on it, I got to realizing that it was so comfortable, and where it rides, I mean, you could certainly wear a light jacket and zip up a jacket. And for concealed carry, I mean, it's a pretty quick draw. I mean, it's literally just yank a zipper. I mean, easily in the time you could lift your shirt, or pull your jacket back, you could yank that zipper down. And I mean, it's right there. So, is it an option potentially for concealed carry? I think so. I mean, I haven't concealed carried it yet, and I may before it's over with. Hunting applications and fishing and all that's obvious. Fishing, I mean, if you're fly fishing and you're doing something to where you're wading, you're wearing waders and stuff like that. I mean,
right.
Just the way that you don't have something hanging off your hip as far as hiking, as far as hunting and other things in the woods. And then, got to thinking, well, if you're wearing heavy clothing, we don't get a lot of winter here, but if you've got coveralls and overalls and heavy jackets and other things, and then you're trying to, have a holster on your hip, also, realize something. And I don't know if this is an issue, but I mean, granted, I mean, the revolver I'm using there is the 38. I mean, basically that's snake control more than anything. But, if you were in a situation where you were, carrying your 44 or whatever, and it was some type of a bear or a big cat type protection, what are the odds that if something like that was to jump on you, they would put you on your back? And so trying to reach for a holster, reach down to the side would, with the chest rig being a little more handy situation in some type of a big animal attack like that. I don't know. And then I had several people that commented on some stuff and actually talked about usage for like bikes, for like, you know, motorcycles, dirt bike, mountain bike, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I was gonna say that'd be a great one for people that want to carry while they're on a bike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't bike, so I mean that never come to mind. So, you know, I mentioned that because it was thrown out there, and several people, I can't even name who, because several people brought things like that up. So, I really appreciate when, you know, you put stuff out like this, and we get those feedbacks and we get those comments that can end up helping, you know, furthering the review and actually helping more people make a decision on something. So, thanks for the engagement out there.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for the feedback on that. And had you done anything with Alien Gear before?
Oh yeah, I've worked with Alien Gear for a while. I've got well, customer before that, you know what I mean, and they're a pretty good company to work with, and they make solid products too.
Yeah. I hadn't done anything with them in a while, and I don't know why. It's not that I don't like them. I always liked that. I guess I just didn't need anything, and none of the other writers seem to. So I think we've got some requests out, and we'll get some more product from them in soon.
It's one of them things when you're doing this. I mean, we do. You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's, you know, it's an interesting thing. We get into a mentality sometimes where we think about the testing and evaluation, and it's, do I need that? And at some point, need is not the issue. It's the company needs it to get reviewed. The company needs the exposure. So even if it's something that you don't need, you know, get it, put in the work, help out the company, you know, create an article, do a video, so forth and so on.
I've had kind of a little bit of different feelings at times about, you know, are we going back to the same brand too much? You know, do we need to mix it up and work with some other brands? Yeah, I don't want to be the homer for any brand, you know?
Right. Well, you get to a point to where you're like, it's kind of like the Olike thing that gets thrown around so much, right? You know, you get to a point to where it can be a running joke at times. So I do agree you have to use a little bit of discretion. But I don't have a problem if it's a company that I, you know, especially one that I use their products, because I don't want to say that I use their products before I started working with them, because there's a lot of companies that I believe in their products, but I didn't know they were on the radar until we started working together, you know? So if it's something I believe in, I don't worry about it too much. Other people, what they project on me and my reviews and my channel, and you guys the same way, projecting stuff on you guys, that's their opinions and their outlook, and I try not to worry, you know, too much about that. But I get the sentiment of sometimes how you can think, because I'm this way too, that you almost think that you're taking advantage of a company in a way. It's like, you know, I hate to get, you know, 2 or 3 things within a really short period of time from them. I would prefer it to be spread out, because it may be increasing a burden on them. Now, you know, I don't know. That's a situation that it would be interesting to talk to some companies and their marketing, and, you know, see what their take is on frequency of doing T&E stuff.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You know, I have gone back and watched a couple of these, and I didn't realize that my go-to word when I don't know what to say. Has anyone patterned me yet? What is it? Absolutely. Listen, we can make a drinking game out of it,
though.
because people, you'll say something, and my default agreement is, oh, absolutely. Like it could be an awesome drinking game for anyone following along.
When I first started doing live streams several years ago, there for a few months, that was kind of a running joke, was I just start naming the show Absolutely, you know.
You know, when you're writing these articles, and it's not a speech thing, but I'll run it through Grammarly, and absolutely's, I'm trying to think of other words, but there's other words like that.
Outstanding.
I'm
bad at that one.
It's just, and Grammarly will hit you, and it's like, delete this word, like you don't need it. It's just an extra word in there. Delete it. And so that's prompting me. Not when I talk, I still use that kind of language, when I talk, unfortunately. But as far as the writing, Grammarly is starting to break me of that, and I use a lot less of those extra words in my articles.
I was about to say it again. I'm not going to.
Hey, Jeff, you could always change the name of the site to absolutely Gear-Report.com.
I could. And awesome, I think, is the other one that I use a lot. So it could be absolutely awesome. Gear tac / dash space.
Just keep going with it.
Hyphen.
Yeah. Hyphen.
But you got to
Hyphen
spell the
sounds like
dash, the
something
tack, and the
else.
hyphen all out. You got to spell it all out, though.
Yeah. All right. They give me something to use the vinyl cutter for. I'm going to make some decals. Yeah. So, all right, working through stuff that has been this is dragging out. Let's pick up the pace on the stuff that's already been out there. People, you can go check out the stuff that's already been published because it's already up there. But for now, Clover, you have a question from Gun Loving Grandpa.
Yeah, and I'm on the spot, so I can't answer that. But he's got my email, so he can hit me up, and I'll reply to him. Yeah, I can't. But two companies come to mind, and right now I cannot think of either one of them.
Yeah, I've got one that I'm trying to remember. It was in Alaska. They sent one that I think Bob Barr reviewed a couple years ago, and I'm blanking on what that company was now.
I know Safariland used to make one. I don't know if it's still under
right.
the line or not, but Safariland did have one.
Yeah, it's not. That's not. Kanai is one. Gunfighters. Gunfighters
Okay.
Inc.
Oh, Kanai's good stuff too. Yeah.
The Kanai and the there was another one. Dang it! I just did a Google here to try to see if I could find it. It's like outdoor something.
Kanai is really good stuff, and they offer clothing and all of that. And if you guys watch Forged in Fire, Doug Marcaida used to be sponsored by Kanai.
Yeah.
But yeah, they make good stuff. I've got a couple of their holsters, and I've got a drop leg holster of theirs from, I don't know, several years back. It was pretty good, but they're usually pretty good quality.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember the second one. Like I said, I didn't like either one of them compared to the alien gear. I would pick the alien gear. The Kanai, the backing was the biggest issue with it. The backing is a little more comfortable, form fitting, and all of that. I think on the alien gear, and both of the old ones that I've looked at before, I've given them away to people, so I don't even have them here to look at. But yeah, the second one, it's like outdoor something, and I don't remember. The company has outdoor in the name. That's all I can tell you at this point.
Okay. Will give us something to talk about later. I think we talked about Mantis a bit last week. I don't want to get too deep into that one,
Right.
but rather just to mention, it's another one that Clover published. Different use for Mantis. We typically think about, we've got a variety of Mantis reviews up already for their older products, their legacy products, used with handguns or air guns or whatever. But you took a different take to put it on a bow. I thought that was
yeah, I love archery.
Very helpful. So if anyone has interest in that, please go check that review out. And I think you had some videos in there as well. We had a new writer got his first article published this week. The CRKT Carson Big Dog Flipper M21-04G knife, and that is an obnoxiously long name for a big knife. But so go check that out. It's pretty well written. It's a young guy that he is one of the adult leaders with my son's scout troop. But when my son started in the troop a few years ago, he was actually one of the scouts. So I have known Jacob because I'm a scout leader. I've known him for years as a scout, and recently he's moved up to be a very good adult leader as well. So happy to welcome him to the team. I think he's got a bunch of stuff queued up that he's going to knock some reviews out on soon. Trey, do you want to say a couple words about the shoes that you reviewed?
Oh, the Skechers. Yeah, I mean, I think you know that, and Clover Budget probably do. I know Clover definitely does. I go through shoes and boots because I've been looking for the right kind. And someone I know Clover's been wearing Skechers for a couple of years, and a buddy of mine had some Skechers, and so I found these because they had the sole, which is kind of more of an outdoors sole that you could train with, hike with. It's not just a walking shoe. So I got them and worn them a lot for the last about 6 weeks, and they're probably honestly the best pair of shoes I've ever had. I would have given them honestly a perfect rating if it wasn't for they're water resistant but not waterproof. And I would have given them a 5. And I know you don't like 5-gear ratings, but I would have given them a 5-gear rating had they been waterproof instead of just water resistant.
Yeah. Well, in this case, I would have had 2 issues. I don't like waterproof shoes.
Yeah. Well, these are probably the best casual shoe I've ever owned. And
Cool.
I was telling Clover that I think Skechers is going to be in my wardrobe forever now.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a pretty strong ringing endorsement. So thanks for sharing that with us. Let's see, the last thing. We took a different direction with Show Us Your Humvee this week and went after the Special Forces Humvees. They call them, Ground Mobility Vehicle, GMV. They're the gun trucks. So these are the fun ones with the machine gun mount on top, and they'll usually have at least one, if not 2 or 3 or 4 swing arm mounted machine guns, and they'll have water, fuel, food, some camo, some guns, some ammo, and that's about it. No other stuff, just what you need to go out and get the job done. So there's some really neat looking trucks in this week's episode. We looked at several, and spoiler alert, and I don't want to jinx things. I probably shouldn't even say this, but I keep being reassured that I got an offer on the Battle Wagon 2.0 this week. It's been for sale for a while, and they're trying to work out how to get it to Florida, with Florida being kind of shut down. But we're going to get that sorted out here in a few days, hopefully, and that'll be sold. And I'm likely going to replace it with an Army Special Forces GMV Humvee. I know a couple guys that bought in bulk and have a number to choose from. I'm going to probably pick up from one of them. And so we'll have a Battle Wagon 3.0 unless someone has a better idea for a name to go from there and start a new Humvee project. So with that, I'm going to stop screen sharing. And after I started the screen, Budget showed up, and I waited till Jose Juan put food in his mouth to turn his on and add him to the broadcast. So
Man, I was starving. I have to jaw on some steak.
all right. So let's see. Let's switch to stuff that's going to be published soon. So what are you working on? What do you have coming? Budget, you mentioned that optic from Lucid. Do you have anything else in the queue?
Yeah, I have several irons in the fire, actually. I got sent some CBD products to do an article on. My wife has a degenerative nerve condition, and one of the things that helps her, because of this, she has constant nerve pain. One of the things that has helped her is CBD oil and stuff. So I got some CBD stuff, and gonna do a write up on how. Of course, it's not medical at all, so it's pure anecdotal, but on how that's working for her. Also, I have reached out to Ruger, and fingers crossed, It looks like they're going to be sending me a one of their new PC charger 9mm. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm also working on a first time on a spring turkey hunt article and video series from the perspective of a first time turkey hunter, which me, 47 years old, have never went turkey hunting before. So I figured it's time to take it up. And as part of that, Mossberg has agreed to send me a 500 deer turkey combo shotgun to check out. So that'll be coming. And then out of my own pocket, I bought I sold a few of my collection and ordered a AKP from Palmetto State. And that's on its way now too. So I got quite a few irons in the fire coming up.
Yeah. That sounds like some interesting stuff. And did you and you got a couple 9mm in the like 9mm PCC type guns, right?
Yeah, that's the Ruger Charger PC 9mm.
And what's the AKP? I'm not
the AKP. It's a 7.62x3.9 pistol. It's an AK-47 pistol basically by Palmetto State.
Right.
It has a folding triangle arm brace to it that Palmetto State came out with, and it's a purdy one too. I'm anxiously awaiting that.
Awesome. Yeah, we saw all the new stuff at SHOT Show, but they had so many things that I can't keep them straight. You know, I got a limited mental capacity to begin with, so I'm just not that smart. All right, so we'll look forward to those. Let's see. I was going to ask Mitch to talk, but it looks like he dropped out. So who else has something you want to talk about that's coming up?
Well, I guess on one of the projects that I've taken up here in the past couple of days, being cooped up in the house with the coronavirus quarantine and all, I came across a remodel job that they were doing, that a company was doing, and I picked up some free material to upgrade our shooting tables. So I'm going to write up a little quick article about it and give you some basic dimensions on it and show some pictures and, the equipment that I use and hopefully people that might come across stuff that could be useful will take up a project like that. Pretty simple.
It's not by chance the one where you can make a table out of one solid piece of treated 3/4 plywood and you slide it into each other and slot it and all that.
No.
The one I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Those are pretty cool, but
yeah, they're cool. I've never tried one, but
the struggle with those is they're not heavy enough, and usually when we go to Quarter Horse Arms, when we go shooting over there, we usually set up temporary tables, and I'm trying to get us back to getting a really solid, sturdy base to shoot from when we're doing some of the sighting in or some of the accuracy tests that I do, especially with the 22s. That is, we do a close range, or I should say, 40 yards that I usually do those accuracy tests with. I've always wanted to have a much stronger table to shoot from. So that's one of the things that I'm doing at the moment, and I gotta say that for the material that I found, it's gonna work out really good. I guess I can somewhat do a teaser over here. I got a couple of pictures on the phone that I can share. So I'm loosely basing. I'm loosely basing the table out of this, okay? But with the material that I found, this is pretty much what we're going to be looking at in the end.
Yeah.
So
that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And with all the different designs out there, you can do so many different things. When someone says, "Oh, well, I just kind of looked at the pictures for a different," and I came up with my own, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But given that you are a structural designer by profession,
yeah,
I feel pretty good about you putting something together that's going to be stable.
Yeah, I mean, and the table is really heavy. The tops, as you guys saw, I mean, they're probably a little bit more than a 1-inch slab of the polyvinyl plastic. So the table, on its own is probably pushing over 100 pounds.
Wow. Yeah.
By the
But
time
that'll be
you
a good
frame it up.
design. I think that'll be valuable to share with people. I think they'll get something out of
And
that.
really, the top can be replaced with 1 full inch plywood or decking material or stuff like that. But at least it
Right.
gives you the basic pattern of what you can do.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. See, I'm trying to mix up my little transition words there.
There you go.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Or whatever the other one was. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Ooh, that one sounds. That sounds a little fruity, actually. So never
Actually,
mind.
that's TJ.
Well,
That's TJ's. You
you-
can't have that one. That's TJ's.
You stop it.
Yeah.
TJ uses that one too.
So we got Mitch back. I wanted to give him a chance to talk about anything he might have coming up.
Yeah, sure. I was just looking at the Springfield Armory TRP operator. It's a 45 caliber pistol that I want to do a review on. I have quite a few handguns, and being, again, just like everyone else, shelter in place and not going out, I've been going through all of my stored stockpile and thought these would be some good articles. I have everything ranging from 911 or 1911s to some long rifles that like the 224 Valkyrie. I read that article on the Optic and I really enjoyed that. My 224 I built out of a PSA lower and all PSA parts pretty much, except for maybe the trigger and a Vortex scope. And I was putting hits on steel, 800 plus yards. This was when I was in South Carolina, consistently, 1.5, 2-inch groups. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed the 224. And, but again, right now the 1911 and anything I see that comes up as a request, I'm happy to cover firearms or anything that's, related to Gear-Report.com.
Gotcha. So for that 224, do you remember what barrel twist you had?
Not off the top of my head. Let me look at my setup and my scope. And
I was just
everything.
curious because I mentioned that with the with one of the issues that delayed that Lucid Optics review was an issue with the rifle, and it was that the initial barrel was a 1-7, and apparently there'd been some issues out in the market. It was one of the early ones to come out of PSA, and they sent a 6.5, one in 6.5 barrel.
Mine was not in the initial load or the initial volley. It was after they had released. They had been doing the barrels and the complete uppers, and this was a completed upper that I put a lower on. So it was like a second generation.
Yeah.
And I did the warm up and getting everything zeroed first, and took my time doing it. But I didn't have any issues.
Awesome. All right, great feedback. We'll look forward to all of those different. You mentioned a number of different products that sounded pretty cool. So can't wait to see those. I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask when they're going to be ready, but I'll just say we're looking forward to it. All right. Who else has something you want to talk about?
I got a couple things that I got in this week that were interesting. I got a Surefire SOCOM muzzle brake, which in itself is just another muzzle brake. But what I like about it is it's already adapted and ready to go for a SOCOM suppressor attachment. So if you ever upgrade it, it's already there. They also sent me a blast diffuser, and I've never worked with one of those before. So I'm going to be interested to see, aside from just aesthetics and possibly some, gas, different, ways of throwing the gas out. Be interested in testing that and see is it something that is a positive or a negative thing. But it's a pretty cool little toy. I'll hopefully get out this weekend and shoot both of those.
So you said diffuser, not just one of those devices to direct it forward, but like spread it out or something?
Yeah, it's got two channels in it. One is to obviously to get it to going forward, but at the end it also does spread. So it's going forward, not out the side. It is going to go forward, but it's also once it gets out, it's going to spread. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, it's going to be one of those that I don't know honestly if there's a practical use for it or not, but we're going to find out.
Yeah, it's interesting, Jeff. Do you remember the AK pistol that we tried out several years ago? That we had that Krinkov muzzle blaster.
Yeah, a little
feature and
crank
stuff
device was something.
Yeah, and so Ghost, you might find out that those are actually they're pretty interesting how effective and efficient they do disperse the gases and make the shooting pretty nice. So that's just what I'm remembering from what we did with Jeff with that AK pistol a while back.
I tell you what I'm going to do, and you guys tell me if you even tested this or not, but it's going to be interesting. With one of the ideas that I had is taking the chronometer and without it, just a regular muzzle brake on there, figuring out what the muzzle velocity of that projectile is. Let's just go through numbers. Let's say it's 1,400 feet per second, okay? And it's coming out of that muzzle at that, but you put that on top of that, and now the gases aren't being dispersed sideways. The gases, I want to be interested, will that give that projectile more muzzle velocity because it's still got the full force of the gas pushing that projectile all the way through the barrel? I don't know if it will or not, but I'm going to test. I'm going to try to see it. And even if it comes out to maybe 25, 30 feet per second, that it now extends that maximum effective range for a projectile without having to change anything. So that's one of the tests I'm going to try out with it.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Who else has got something coming?
Here, sorry, I don't know. I wanted to make mention. I don't know if Tactical Leprechaun has shared with us or right now what he just built with his his pistol rest, so he can do some of the accuracy testing. Kind of like the same thing that I did with the table, just on a budget. He came up with a pretty good setup to do the pistol shooting. Supported and kind of segue to that. It's kind of talking about the tools of the trade of what we do as reviewers, and we've talked about some of the high score gadgets or pistol rests or rifle rests that we use. And yeah, like you're looking at the Wheeler Engineering, the Wheeler screwdriver set and stuff.
The fat wrench.
Yeah, fat wrench. Well, I have over here, I brought with me, thinking about what Dover did. This is one of the rests that I use for my pistol shooting, which is manufactured by High Score. And they have this one that actually has a pivoting effect on it. So you release this screw over here and you can actually pivot your pistol mount, so you can actually chase or follow. If you're actually doing some shooting,
it makes you the pivot man
at varmints and stuff like that, where you can have more mobility. And then on the side of this one, they also manufacture another one which actually stretches, but this one you can actually anchor and support your pistol and use it as a sighting on vice or for a pistol, which has also worked out really good for us whenever we've done some of the accuracy testing for the 22 pistols or some of the other 380 or 9mm or 45, anything that we've shot from here. So that's kind of like a little bit of the tools of the trade, but you don't have to go to the extent of purchasing something that is already made. Like the tactical leprechaun, he manufactured one that he shared on his site, and he actually came out pretty cool. Really made me think about this, so that's why I brought him on.
I heard it was magically delicious.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was magically fantastic or something like that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That was
Absolutely.
that was a combination of kind of being bored and being a pack rat and having stuff around the house, in the buildings, in the barns, and my other rest breaking on me. So it was a kind of a necessity and do it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to put a DIY out. I'm going to write something up on that, kind of go through the steps. The cool thing about it is I dropped that video, of course, and I've had comments on that of, why didn't you do this, or why don't you do that? And the beauty is that, nobody has to take that idea. It's kind of like JJ was talking about with his table. I mean, you can get kind of the rough idea, the rough concept, and then tailor it, do it the way you want to do it. Add certain features, take certain features away. There's already on that particular rest a couple of upgrades, a couple of things that I'm thinking about changing. I mean, I had wing nuts laying around, but knurled nuts or star nuts or something like that, which would be a little bit quicker to adjust than those wing nuts. I'm thinking about maybe replacing those. Now that's a trip to the hardware store or ordering something off Amazon or whatever. And I was trying to eliminate really having to spend any money, but yeah, gonna add some of that. Talk about some of that probably in the DIY about some of the upgrades and other things. And then y'all were talking about the takedown tables earlier. If I don't have to ever build another one of those in my lifetime, I'll be happy. We did a 4-H fundraiser. We had a local lumber yard that worked with us on it, and we did a local 4-H fundraiser thing, and built those. Built to order. Oh my God! And they're cool. I will say they're cool, but I'll echo that they're not the most stable thing out there. So, great in a pinch. Outside of that, I did some filming today, did some shotgunning all morning, actually this morning, working with the clay cannon from Do All Outdoors, which is pretty neat. I mean, the days of you've all seen the fork thing that you put the clay in and sling it and put it in and sling it. And this is a spring loaded, device that they've got that you basically cock it back. It's got a pistol grip, a trigger, it's got a safety, it's got a tension knob to tighten or loosen the spring tension depending on how you want it to throw. Pretty neat. So that's coming down the pike too.
Awesome. Oh, awesome. See, I'm getting off absolutely. I'm saying awesome now. Toby, you had some neat stuff there. You were holding up in the background. You want to tell us about it?
Sure. Yeah. So for the longest time, I actually had pretty much zero NQ. I had that Titan that was still has been dragging out for a long time. And to be fair, the Titan, that DSP Armory Titan AR10, wasn't because we were failing on our end to get it put out there. There was some challenges with the Elfman trigger that's inside of it, and the way that they were machining the lowers. I got the lower in, had to send the lower back. Went through some design and engineering challenges there. I finally got all that back in, and then I had missed an opportunity or two to get some glass for it. So I went from nothing in Q. I just had the Titan and whatever hopes of doing that later on down the road. Till now, I've got pretty much everything that I need to do the Titan and then some. So the Wheeler was kind enough to send us a 34 millimeter cantilever mount.
Yeah.
With the nice little, it's got the nice little, see if it's got it on there. See if the picture's going to have the nice little levels that pop out to the side. So I'm kind of excited about that. For longer distance shooting, having the level. So I'll mount it with that. Wheeler also sent us, I'll put that back up there real quick. So because of the level on it. So that level is what I'm looking forward to. That's
neat.
Nice.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm sitting here watching. I'm looking at the little screen going, man, I wish that was bigger. And then it hit me. Oh, yeah, I'm the one controlling that.
Yeah, and then Wheeler also sent an ultra scope mounting kit to be able to get it in there. I was hoping to get a lapping kit as well, but I think they didn't have it in stock at the moment. So I was gonna lap the base to make sure do that. So what I'll end up doing as I go to mount the scope on the AR-10 is I'll do one video. I don't know if I'll break it out into two reviews for the cantilever mount and the mount kit, or just do it as a as one together. And then the scope that we'll be mounting is the Crimson Trace. Crimson Trace sent us a couple to mount on this thing. This one's the CTL 5324. It is a first focal plane FFP. It's a 3 to 24 by 54 millimeter. I don't know if you can get that. We got too much light going on there or whatever.
That's good.
Yeah, but that's going to be the
It looks kind of boxy. I don't think that's going to fit in the rings.
Well, so yeah, I don't want to pop it out of the box. I can show you the picture there. I didn't want to pop it out of the box though until I go to do my B-roll and start capturing some footage and everything. So I'm still leaving it in the plastic. Same thing with all the other stuff. And then I've got so I'll have a 45 angle cant to pop off to the side to a red dot. And then that's going to be the Crimson Trace CTS 1400 that they sent. And it'll just 45 off, which I bought the cant myself. Not like it broke the bank too much there. And then a throw lever for the actual scope for the CTL 5324. So we'll have a level on the cantilever base, and you'll have a quick throw lever to go across the scope to be able to adjust in and out quickly. Even though I'm going to have that 45 degree over to a red dot, I wanted to still be able to drop from 1 out to 24, very quickly. And then I've also, I got a few other things coming. So there's the steel banger. I think this is the steel banger from Swagger. That'll be the bipod that we're using on it. And special thanks to Clover for that one. Clover sent that up, and special thanks to Swagger for sending it. But that's going to be really interesting. It's already got my curiosity up with the spring and the fact that it seems to go all different directions just natively and naturally. Kind of curious how that's going to work out whenever you're pressing in for long range shooting. But that'll be the bipod I'm using for it. Then in addition, we had another company called by the name of Bison Jam. They're sending us some satchels to use that I'll mount over top. I'll actually mount them over top of the DSP Armory Pelican case. DSP Armory Titan comes with a Pelican style case. It's not a Pelican specific brand. I don't have it here, so I don't know what the brand is, but I'll mount that over it, and I'll run my dope book, and I'll run just some shells and some other things off of that bag and use it for the review. So I went from nothing in queue to where I've got 6-8 things to do now. On the bright side though, every single one of them builds off of the other one. So there's a consistent theme through all of it. So it's not like I'm going to have to review this and then shift gears over to this and then shift gears over to this. They're all literally in one funnel for that DSP Armory Titan. So that's going to be pretty fun. I'm going to capture some B-roll Sunday and Monday, assuming that it rains like it's being forecasted to do so. And then coming into next week, I'll start zeroing it and trying to capture some B-roll of that. And then I'll start working into doing some actual real world case uses, taking out coyote hunting and things like that. Moving into trying to get some long range shooting. I guess what's his name, Reed, down in Alabama. Maybe we can. I saw that you had a 50 BMG possible trip down there, so I can see definitely road trip in the future there. A little long range shooting with a 308 and a 50 BMG. A lot of work could get accomplished there, and goofing off, of course. And
goofing off, yeah. I was kind of tuning you out, and then you said goofing off. I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Work. Who wants to work? That's for the birds.
The 50 BMG. That was we'll see what happens with that. Last week they said they're about a month out from being able to do anything, and they wanted a quick turn review on that. So I don't know if we're going to be able to help them or not. It'd be fun to get out and try it, but we'll have to see how that works with everyone's schedules and if we're even allowed to go outside at that point. But
well, I mean, and again, you can always come up here to my place, but all I've got is about 150 yards. That's about all I can get on my range down here. That's the longest shot I've got. So that wouldn't do the 50 BMG any kind of justice whatsoever.
Agreed. Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing all those. The other thing that I thought you were on that you should have got an email this afternoon was Mantis.
Yes.
You were on the list for Mantis, weren't you?
Yes, and I try to take a slightly different route. So, I mean, I'm like you. I've got one of the Gen 1 Mantis that I've had for a long time on my cert. And this is not a real firearm, by the way, for those of you in YouTube land. This is a shot indicating reset trigger or cert training pistol that is an inert firearm that only fires a red beam. But at any rate, great training firearm. I had the original Gen 1, and I've been using it for several years in classes, actually. So I'll use it when I'm teaching concealed carry classes or pistol classes to help actually diagnose students. And so what I did is when I put in the request to Mantis, I wanted the AR bolt replacement, that red laser bolt replacement, and then one of their newer Mantis X Elite units, the CX10 or whatever it is. And what I think I'll do is I'll try to use those in more of a I don't know, maybe a house clearing or room clearing, scenario. Try to capture some B-roll footage of that. Use it more like that, along with the LASR app or something like that, and see if I can get some footage and see if I can get something going for that review and give it a unique twist. So,
yeah,
hopefully,
that sounds pretty cool. All right, let me see. Have we been all the way around the room yet? Is there anyone that hasn't talked about what they have coming? I'll tell you something that just arrived, I think it was yesterday, maybe, from Streamlight, the TLR-7A, the new alpha model of the TLR-7, the weapon-mounted light that it has its own little switch in the back. And I was going to show you. I've got it on SIG P226, but I'm not allowed to show you, so I took it off right before we went live. So there we go. That will be on the way. And I'm not bitter about the YouTube rules on handling weapons at all, as far as you know. All right. And that actually puts us at about an hour. I haven't seen too much from the comments on YouTube. If anyone has anything else they'd like to get in front of the group, go ahead and ask your questions now. I think we're going to wrap up at least that portion. Anything else anyone wants to talk about while we're all here? Go ahead and speak up now.
I'd like to talk about Tiger King.
Really?
No.
Not really. Just thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I do. I mean, if we're going to go open form a little bit,
Yeah.
JJ was talking about the high score rest, that's the parallax rest,
Yeah.
the one that locks in. Now you talked about using that for accuracy. Now, one of the things because mine broke, and I was just using a Pistolero from Caldwell, and I'd had it for years, no fault of Caldwell. It wasn't taken care of. I left it out in the weather and on the range, and it was, after years and years, it was just time, it being plastic. But I looked into the high score, looked into quite a few others. What, in my research and looking at rest, if you lock the pistol down in any way and it's not allowed to recoil, I read some stuff where that could cause damage.
Correct. But if you see the picture of this one over here, it actually allows it to pivot all the way through. So your support, your anchoring points are right here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right at the grip. Right. But then everything else over here is free. So whenever you shoot, the pistol will recoil back, and then you have to push it over. So you still have to have control of the gun. You can't necessarily just let it be on its own.
Okay.
Okay. So you would grab it and then pull your trigger, and it'll recoil some, but it has the stability that gives you the repeatability for you to be able to sight in a pistol and move the sights, provided that you have the proper tools and everything to do it. You're going to be able to move your sights. You're going to be able to adjust everything, but it's going to give you a much a truer performance when you shoot. You're going to be able to verify that zero that you're putting on it.
Right. With the portions that contact the grip, are those are rubber on that, correct?
Yeah, they have sponge like the
okay.
sponge pads or stuff on it, and
Now
it's plastic. Yeah, so you twist them on, and I'll show you.
do they free spin?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it right there, they,
Oh,
you know,
okay. So plenty of give and plenty of play. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and he has
Okay.
the
Well,
sponge.
that's
over
hard
on
to
the side.
see, in pictures and whatnot. That's hard to see. And I was thinking, well, if you put your pistol in there and it recoils, then are they going to mar? Is it going to mess up your grips?
No.
But if they move, then you're fine.
Yeah, and of course, it has pretty much the adjustment that you're talking about that you like to put on the
Right.
on the one that you just manufactured yourself. So it gives you pretty good movement and flexibility for whatever gun you have, and also with the adjustments of the of how long you can make it. Or
Yeah,
stuff.
different sizes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can fit that little 16-inch Heritage Rough Rider in there.
Yeah.
So take the punishment off of your wrist.
Yeah.
I'm going to show my age a little bit, but when JJ was showing the demonstration on the box on how he would grip the gun on the box, it reminded me of Kids in the Hall. Just saying.
Well, I try.
You guys probably don't know what Kids in the Hall is, but
I crush
it's
your
pretty
head.
good.
I crush your head.
I crush you.
Crush your head.
Yes.
Crush it.
I think I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one with a warped sense of humor. That's good to know. That's
Nope.
very good to know.
Oh no, not even close to the only one. That's like a requirement. That's why Mitch is in the green room. Is he's like a little too wholesome, I think, for this part of the discussion.
We'll break him down.
Yeah. It's going to take some work, I think, but we'll get him around. And that's so far the one drawback that I have found with this StreamYard platform is that limit of 6 people. And I've got to figure out how to deal with that better because I'm freaking out here. Like I don't want to kick anyone out, but we can only have 6. So.
You can rotate though through if you're when it's a formatted show, like except for this portion is obviously not that formatted, but up until this point it was, right? So It's not that big of a deal. Just bring people in to get their thoughts or bring people in to see what they're doing and shuffle people back and forth. Not a big deal.
All right. And with that, I'm going to shuffle Clover.
Thank you.
And bring Mitch back so he can defend his honor. There he is.
You assume that there's honor, but okay.
Yeah, thanks everyone for bearing with me as I'm learning how to manage this type of live broadcast. I think you guys have been great and given a lot of good information and hopefully kind of whet the interest of some of the folks out there, either following along live or maybe watching the replay later. So thanks everyone. Anything else we want to talk about while we got everyone here?
No, I guess we're good. Just stay safe, I guess, huh?
Stay safe.
JJ just wants to get back to his steak. He doesn't care. He just wants you to turn this off so we can go eat.
The steak is gone. I didn't wait. I'm sorry. But
Yeah. That's why we had the that's why we do that segment where we where we bring up the screen for the published reviews is to give people time to eat if they were late showing up.
I'm not gonna lie, I was eating lasagna earlier, so it's all
well,
good.
there you have it. It's funny. I had lasagna for lunch, but it was many hours ago, so I needed to eat.
Yeah. All right. So, the question, just kind of a functional question. I'm looking at all the muted mic stuff here, and I keep hearing what sounds like someone dry firing, even though most of the mics are muted. Is someone
me.
Not me.
That would be me.
Yeah, I kind of thought he was Ghost.
I thought
Sorry.
I was going to say, somebody
I
said
thought I was
the new
muted.
guy,
I'm sorry.
and I was like, hey, I'm the FNG. My mic's muted.
No, you're good.
I didn't realize I wasn't muted. I'm sorry. I'll mute up.
You're all right.
All right. Just curious.
At
I
least
didn't
it's
know
got
if that
live
was.
fire.
Yeah.
I guess since his image is not there, then he's just taking advantage of being able to practice a little bit while he's just on the show.
Yeah.
That's why I turned the camera off.
Yeah. I figured that's why. Yeah.
I thought that was for our benefit.
Wow, that kind of hurt, but it's fair. It's
Like
fair,
you
but
have
it hurts.
feelings. Come on.
Yeah, it's fair, but it still hurts.
All right.
Yeah.
So how's everyone? How are things in your neck of the woods? I know we kind of went around early in the discussion last week and talked about, how are things in your area? So how's everyone doing now? I'll tell you, Central North Carolina, we're still on the governor has issued the stay home order, which there's so many exceptions to it. I'm not even sure what the point is, but it has given us the opportunity to label some people as essential and some as non-essential, which causes lots of angst and hissy fits. So that's entertaining. I appreciate that part.
Yeah, the funny thing is, within the idea of essential or not essential and what you're allowed to do, I actually drove by Lowe's, the hardware store, this past weekend, and it was, let's say, stupid. Was too nice of a compliment,
Where are you located?
Over in the Burlington, North Carolina area, somewhere about there, but the parking lot of the store was completely packed up, and not just the regular contractors or stuff that actually needing the store for something. It was you could see people getting out of the cars, like groups of families going out of the car to go into the store and everything. It was crazy. I mean, you would think that all these people would have a sense that home remodeling projects or stuff like that, even if you're going to take them over right now because you have the time, you would have the sense of at least just having one family member going over to buy the things real quick, get out of the store and get home. Even the people at the store were having issues with how people's behaviors are, considering the situation. Pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is the sooner I get my kids and wife infected, the sooner we're past it.
I don't know. It's just pretty bad.
Yeah.
But other than that,
you still locked down there?
What's that? Here, in Texas, everything's locked down.
Wow.
So they have shelter in place, and they do it by counties, Texas being such a large state. And the shelter in place, they shut down the schools, they shut down all the non-essentials, just like you hear. Myself, the company that I work for, we're not really considered essential, but I work from home. Actually, what we're doing now, our company provides conferencing, video and audio conferencing for hospitals, for schools, for all over the world, not just in the U.S. So we're helping a lot of people stay communicating and doing their jobs, and to get information out that's correct and accurate versus just fixing minor IT things, which is normally what I do. But not a lot of people are going out. If they are, it's to go out and exercise, walk, be outside. The weather's nice. It's a little frustrating, like he was saying, going to the store and having to wait in line or be around people who are just, I guess, idiots, for lack of a better term, and dealing with kids in school and then work and everything else. So I'm actually a teacher. I'm not a licensed teacher, but being at home now, I have to help teach my teenage sons as well. So I'm the go-between between the school and them. It adds another layer to it, but it's all good.
I wonder if we can get paid as teaching staff now. That'd be awesome.
Teaching assistants.
I just went in on the state teacher health plan and retirement plan. I don't even care about. Well, yeah, I do care about the salary, but I really want the long-term benefits.
I gotcha.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Budget. Are you You still able to get out and around and do stuff?
We here in Ohio, we're under a stay-at-home order. We're supposed to not go out unless it's. But then again, there's a lot of exceptions to it. So basically, you can invent an excuse to go out if you really want to. Hasn't changed my life really at all because I've been social distancing before it was the cool thing to do. That social distancing is just Thursday to me, you know. I work in corrections as my day job, so I'm essential. And when other people aren't allowed to go, I have to. So
yeah, you're double essential.
The only thing it's changed for me is the PPE you got to wear at work now.
Oh.
I've seen when I've been out and about at the stores and such, I've seen, we're limiting in our stores how many people can go in based upon the square footage of the building. So for instance, local Walmart's 1,000 people and they have all the entrances closed off and they have except one. And that's that on one half you go in, on the other half of that exit you come out, and they have people standing there with tablets keeping track of the number of people that went in, the number of people that have come out, and if there's too many people in there, they'll stop you and they won't let you in until someone else comes out. And they're enforcing the one person per cart rule and whatnot. Some places aren't enforcing it as well, and honestly, I haven't seen as many. I haven't seen any place with someone actually counting people going in other than Walmart. So for whatever else they're doing this right.
All right.
Yeah, and I think that's coming down here in the next couple of days. The governor and some of the local mayors and stuff have pretty much created a decree that Walmart and all of the big box stores and Lowe's and all will have to monitor the amount of people that go in and out of the store to keep containment. So that's unfortunately it's because of the behavior of people that I've seen.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it sucks that they have to put it, but even when they institute them, there will be people that will complain now and will not follow suit. So
well, that's me, because if you look at the data, I don't think it's needed. Like I literally, from where the data is, it started out as it's just a bad flu. What we're seeing in the data, unless you're one of those, the very small group that it just absolutely hammers, it's not going to be anything. For the vast majority of our population, it's not even going to be as bad as getting a cold. And it's just, and honestly, I was reading and listening to some stuff today with some physicians talking, and I think the biggest issue is that they've been treating it wrong. They've been treating it more like a pneumonia and doing things that made it worse because it's not pneumonia. So I hate to say it, but I think our medical people may have inadvertently been I don't want to say killing people because that's not remotely the idea I'm trying to get across, but the treatment protocols that were given to them that they're told they have to follow were maybe not the right protocols for what this actually is. So I think we're at a turning point where, as some of the governors like here in North Carolina are wanting to crack down even more and more, I think the data is showing we're probably at a point where we can start backing off on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm a numbers guy. I mean, not just because of the structural design that I do, but because I have a degree in mathematics and physical science, and looking at the documentation, the charts, just the numerical analysis of what's going on, it just doesn't point out to anything. Not even from the numbers that they've shown. It seems that it might even be less than or equivalent to what the regular influenza that we get every year is going to kill. And anybody that has died with the coronavirus, if they would have gotten the flu, they would have died also. It doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it good or validated, that people are going to die and we shouldn't care. No, we still care. But it doesn't seem to be the crazy emergency and truly pandemic issue that they painted it to be. Unfortunately, what we've seen is that they always have to err on the side of caution, and that puts the most restrictions in the freedom of the nation. That's just it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes the next few weeks. But yeah, the data
if you
keeps
look at the
trending.
symptoms, if you look at the symptoms of it, tell me it doesn't remind you of the SHOT Show crud. Just saying.
I was just
the
thinking
symptoms.
Dude. And,
Jeff
the
and I
real
talked about
start
it.
of Corona.
yeah.
all you
we
guys
talked
that went
about
to SHOT, you've already had it, so you're immune now.
and you may say that in jest, but I would put money that if I had that, what do they call it? The test to see if you have the antibodies. I'm blanking on what it's called. I would put money. I don't bet. That's just not me.
Right.
I don't bet on anything unless I can control the outcome. I'm not betting on it, and I would bet on this because I'm that confident. And a friend that knows someone highly placed at the CDC said that what she told him is that they knew about this in September, like it was in the wild in September. So I think SHOT Show crud this year was Corona.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a big possibility.
I wasn't kidding when I was saying that. I mean, if you look at the symptoms, it's the crud.
Yeah. No, and if you think about it, how many foreigners go to SHOT Show just as much as we do, to go look at the firearms and everything, and everybody knows. You look at one of the bigger manufacturers or the ones that are more specialized, they are always very wary of Oriental foreigners taking pictures of their Asians, taking pictures of
Orientals are rugs, dude.
Yeah, well, Asians, they're taking pictures of their equipment and all because they infringe on the copyright so much. So how many of those do come over for that purpose, or even if they're legitimate, that they're bringing stuff from over there, in the case this year, the virus. So yeah.
And this is not meant to sound racist at all, but you guys will know what I mean, is there are Chinese companies that are at SHOT Show every year, and they bring a massive amount of people that display stuff. So they're there, we don't know if they had it or not. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Very true.
See, I thought you were going to say something racist against Asians now.
My wife would kick my ass, dude.
Gonna say that'd be pretty damn dumb of him.
Right. And the inside joke for the people who don't know is his wife is Asian. So
that's correct.
It was completely. Didn't want to make you sound like an actual racist, but I was
I just play one on TV.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear everyone's hanging in there and getting by, even if we're having to be teachers and deal with life in the house. I'm kind of like Budget, where for a decade I've been working from home, and sitting in the house by myself all day, every day is that's my jam. So, I'm used to it, but I do feel for everyone adjusting to that.
Yeah. Well, we're at about an hour and 30 minutes, just about on the live. So I don't know.
All right. Was that the cue you're telling me to shut it down?
And well, do they kick us out at all? Is there like a specific time slot that we got?
No.
He can go for 8 hours, but he wants dessert now, Jeff. That's what it really wants. He wants to go get dessert.
Yeah. No, we can shut it down if you guys are done. I appreciate everyone coming, spending time with us, and telling us about the reviews that are coming. The little discussion there at the end was enlightening. It's one of those things that I'd like to say that I'm going to be the better man. I'm not going to cause any controversy. It's the internet. I'm going to keep scrolling. Unfortunately, I've lost more hours in the last week arguing with people online. I really have to stop doing it. But I being a data person, I can't keep listening to what the people in the government are saying and then look at the data, and I'm like, no, this is 180 degrees out from what the data says. It just doesn't make any sense. I can't do that and then be quiet. I've got to at least say, you don't have to believe me, you don't have to listen to me, but please go do some research, look at the data, form your own opinion. Don't just take what they tell you and say, well, the CDC says, because this is our government. Our government is a bureaucracy, and the cornerstone of bureaucracy is CYA.
Well, hell, the CDC's own numbers agree with you.
Yeah.
If you talk about the numbers of flu deaths since October 2019, that's between 12,000 and 64,000, depending upon how they estimate it. But even if you cut that in half to account for prior to January, that's still between 6 and 32,000 deaths from the flu.
Yeah.
And that's just in the US alone. And we have less than 3,000 or a little over 3,000 deaths from coronavirus. It's the numbers say that the flu is something to worry about worse than this is.
And
we don't have this great hue and cry and wailing and gnashing of teeth over the flu every year. That's just But this is something new, and it's an election year, folks.
Yeah. So for all of you here on the Gear Report team, I know many of you are essential anyway, but as media, you're essential. So if you need a assignment letter at any point to convince someone you really are essential, let me know.
Well, I'm planning to go hiking next weekend, so I might need one.
Yeah, we'll queue up an article on hiking for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, I appreciate it. Everyone who has hung with us. We've actually had people follow this whole hour and a half of the broadcast, and to them, I say thank you, and also I apologize. So, we'll I do my best. So, limited intellect, you can only expect so much. But
work in progress, Jeff. Work in progress. Remember that.
Yeah. It's we should turn that into a song. It can be the Gear Report theme song, the Gear dash TAC.com, whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So when you put that together, if you would use Baby Got Back as the music for it, and then, I don't care what you do with the lyrics. It just has to be Baby Got Back. All right.
I like Gear Report, and I cannot lie.
There you go. See?
Wow.
I got big guns and I can't deny.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again. Seriously, sincerely, thank you for being a part of the show this week. Thanks for being a part of Gear Report. Can't wait to see the new stuff you guys are working on. I'm sure it's going to be just as good as everything you've already done, which is phenomenal. So thanks again. Anyone who is interested in joining the rarefied air of the likes of Gun Loving Grandpa, we do have a Gear Report Patreon that you are welcome to partake in if that's your thing. If not, then don't. That's fine. But it's there if you like it. And check us out on all the different social media channels. We'll be back next Friday at 8 o'clock. And as long as people are watching and we're having fun and people are still locked in their houses, then we're going to keep doing this. At some point, we'll probably kind of dial back on it. But for now, we're going to keep rolling. So we'll see you. Today's the 10th. So that means we'll see you on the 17th at 8 o'clock. And until then, we'll see you at the range.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, guys.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks.